Janice, how you
Good
doing?
morning.
We'll get
Good.
you, we'll wait till we can see your presentation. Janice has a quick 10-minute Air Canada update for us today. So, Janice, you're looking good. So, welcome back to the Canada Specialist Program. Wonderful to have Janice from Air Canada back with us today. Janice, it's always lovely to see you and catch up with you. So, I will hand straight over to you.
Thanks, Charlie, and good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Canada Specialist Program. Nice early start for some of us in Queensland. Now, let's see if my laptop will work. So, for those of you who haven't met yet, my name's Janis McDonald. I'm based in sunny Queensland, and I do get around to some of the other states to get to see you. But if you do need to contact me, my email address and mobile number is there for you, or it's all on your hubs. Now, let's look at something new with Air Canada. So we're going to take off and do some new itineraries that you may not have even thought about over the last couple of weeks. So before we do that, just to recap, we have our daily flights out of Sydney, and we have additional services over the high season, which are afternoon departures to help the heavy load of Christmas. And then Brisbane, we will go up to daily from November to help us over our high season. And then we're welcoming back our Auckland seasonal service from the end of November till March. From there, obviously, the world's your oyster when it comes to North America. So just recapping, we fly to over 100 destinations that cover both Canada and the US. And with this in mind, we're going to have a look at how you can make your itineraries bigger and better for your clients. So let's look at some new multi-destinational itineraries. So the first one, some of you may not have realized, but you can actually fly from Sydney to Haneda using Qantas, and then picking up Air Canada from Haneda, flying into Toronto, because we got a lot of land to cover over the Ontario area. Once you've done all your beautiful fall sightseeing, you can fly back to Vancouver with Air Canada and then come direct home, Vancouver back into Sydney. So there you can see you can take in quite a lot in one itinerary. The other one is flying from Brisbane into Narita and then into Canada from Narita direct into Toronto, and doing the exact same itinerary, coming home via Vancouver and then back into Brisbane. Plus you get your two free stopovers, one in Narita and one in Vancouver on these airfares. Now note they are published fares, so there's no special codes, so you can just quote it in your system. The next one, we want to go and see some of our mates in New Zealand. So you can fly from Sydney into Auckland during our seasonal service time period, and then fly Auckland direct into Vancouver, spend Christmas in Vancouver, go skiing in Whistler, perhaps taking a little bit further and flying to New York if you want to, and then coming back home into Sydney direct with Air Canada. And that's the same for Brisbane, but in this itinerary, we're just going to add in Japan as well. So you can do Brisbane into Narita, Narita direct into Vancouver with Air Canada, and then flying Vancouver to Auckland with Air Canada, and then flying Auckland back into Brazil with Qantas. So just showing you a few more bits and pieces you can do in that region. But wait, it's not just Brisbane and Sydney. We have some itineraries for our Victorian agents as well. So you can fly from Melbourne into Narita using Qantas as well, and then picking up Air Canada from Narita into Vancouver, and then coming home direct Vancouver, Sydney with Air Canada, and then using a code share if you want to with Virgin, mixing up your itineraries back into Melbourne. So you can see there's so much you can do using Japan as a destination as well. Another one with Melbourne is flying into Narita and then going all the way to the East Coast, flying into Montreal this time and starting in Montreal and working our way down, doing your own thing. So open jaw between Montreal and Toronto. So after you've tasted some nice ice wine, you can jump on a flight from Toronto and fly back to Sydney with Air Canada, and then back Sydney to Melbourne with a codeshare or with Qantas. But wait, there's still more. We also got some really great itineraries for our WA agents. I don't think anyone's going to be awake at this time of the morning, but for those of you who may have clients in the Perth region, you can actually fly from Perth into Singapore using Singapore Airlines, and then using the Air Canada service from Singapore direct into Vancouver. You can then fly back in the same direction. So you don't have to come back via Brisbane or Sydney if you don't want to. Another option with Perth is perhaps taking in 3 countries in one destination. So flying Perth to Auckland using our seasonal service in November to March, and then flying Auckland direct into Vancouver using Air Canada, doing your trip, and then coming back home, doing a stopover in Singapore, and then flying back Singapore into Perth with Singapore Airlines. Oh, wait, there's even more for Perth. Oh, sorry. Oops. There we go. You can also now fly Perth into Bangkok using Thai Airways. This is very new. And Bangkok into Vancouver direct. And then perhaps you want to do a little hop, skip, and a jump to Calgary for a few days, and then fly Calgary back to Vancouver. And then you want to do something in Japan. So flying with Air Canada Vancouver into Narita, having a few days in Japan before flying back Narita into Perth using AA. So as you can see, these little trips are little gems that a lot of people wouldn't have thought of. And it just makes your itineraries bigger, earn more money, more inspiration for your clients. People have so much more time and money to spend traveling some of these destinations, and they want to take in Asia particularly, and then perhaps into Canada. Now, the great thing about these multi-fares, you get 2 stopovers in each direction. So for your economy class, for instance, your one direction is FOC and the second one is at $200. You can see premium have 2 stopovers per direction. One is FOC and one is at $150. Depending on whether you go higher, then you've got unlimited stopovers for our premium economy. And then same with business, you've got 2 stopovers permitted in each direction at $100 for the lower class booking classes for business. And then the higher ones, you get your stopovers in each direction for free. So some of the agent resources that you can use. Oops, sorry. We do have a really good agent website. So if you want to grab your phones and quickly scan that QR code, I will send the information to you as well. But that just gives you information on all our policies and procedures, what to do if you've got a name correction, and of course, more importantly, what do you do if you want to apply for an AD75 or an AD50 ticket. We also have support for you 24/7. We've got our reservations team for both Australia and New Zealand. We do have a groups department for both Australia and New Zealand, and of course our trade support. So please feel free to contact any of those guys if you are stumped and need a little bit of assistance along the way. And that is it from me. Very quick, short and sweet.